Paranormal in Pennsylvania may discuss topics such as suicide, murder, and other potentially upsetting things. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to Paranormal in Pennsylvania,
where we discuss history and haunts.
Today's story takes us to Gettysburg for one of the most important headquarters of the Civil War. I'm Sarah.
And I'm David.
Let's get into it. Today we're talking about General Lee's headquarters at Gettysburg. I had been to Gettysburg many times and never seen this, didn't know that this was a specific area. I mean, I knew who General Lee was, of course, but I didn't know that this was a clear section of the national park.
Well, to be fair, before it was reclaimed by Historical Society, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a part of a Holiday Inn or some sort of hotel chain where... Oh, no, wait. Was the building always
You're
there?
right.
Was
You're
it the
right.
barn I'm thinking?
No, you're
okay.
right.
So am I stealing your thunder right now?
It's fine.
You deliver very well. Let's have you do it.
We went there, so we read the plaques and stuff.
I read.
This is part of the larger Gettysburg Battlefield Complex. It's a 4-acre property on Chambersburg Pike, which sits atop Seminary Ridge and is said to have been the headquarters of Robert E. Lee. General Lee is said to have preferred tents as opposed to buildings and structures that he had kind of taken over for his leadership style, but he would have, without a doubt, been inside this house at some point. Now you might be asking, whose house is this? Mary Thompson is the answer. She was a 69-year-old widow that had lived in Gettysburg for a long time, and across the street from her lived her son.
And she had a dog and a garden.
Yes, she did. When Lee showed up, she was not very happy that he was there and had taken over her property, but she didn't flee. Instead, she stayed there and she actually served as a nurse to the soldiers that were wounded. Once the battle had raged and ended, it became such like a local iconic place to visit that people actually ran her out of Gettysburg because everyone wanted to see where Lee had been stationed.
Interesting.
Kind of a shame because she had lived in Gettysburg her whole life.
Did she like truly flee Gettysburg? Did she move in with her son? Or?
No, she left. She
wow.
left Gettysburg. She, like I said, flees and then ends up dying of tuberculosis in 1873. Following the war, the house became a museum, but was then converted into a motel, which is just a wild switch. I mean, who takes General Lee's headquarters during the Civil War and says, you know what this would be good as? Motel?
I don't think it was like specifically looked at for that. I think it was more of like the location. It's just outside of like, Gettysburg proper.
Okay.
Right.
So
and
you're
it's
saying
on
it's
the
prime
main
location
road
for a hotel.
Yeah, it was like a good location.
And it's historical. Yeah, I guess I get it. It's just kind of a shame to me. But amazing that when it was a hotel, people got to sleep in the building that served as Lee's headquarters during the Civil War.
Yeah.
I mean, we're obviously history nerds. That's part of why we like this podcast, doing this podcast. I was getting chills when we were there, thinking about the history and the significance of this place.
So like the gravity of it was there for me, but like I was not getting chills or anything, admittedly. But again, I guess this would be like a little bit of a motif, is we had our daughter with us and I was, dealing with her as well. So my focus was a little diverted when I wasn't reading the plaques.
Yeah, because we were walking around and exploring the area, so he had her baby wearing in a carrier. And you make a good point about I probably didn't know it was there because it was only in 2014 that this actually was bought back by the Civil War Trust and then restored to the 1863 appearance. So if I went during, high school or middle school or anything as a child at all, I wouldn't have seen it.
Right. Because like they like ripped it down, restored it to like what it looked like, right?
They didn't tear it down. I think the building was there. They just converted it back.
So the foundation that was to the right of it
was a barn
and did have like a cottage or something on top of it that they ripped down.
Yep. Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay.
And it didn't open until 2016, and it offers tours on some special occasions during summer. It's open. It was closed when we were there in September, and you can do a virtual tour online, which is kind of cool. We did go on the porch and peek in the windows because I wanted to see what it looked like. So it was really cool. And like we said, there is a walking trail on the property that kind of mirrors the conflict that was there. What happened was the Confederate line, of course, went through this headquarters, and it was buckling on either side, but they held the strongest at General Lee's headquarters. Eventually, of course, it was overrun by Union soldiers who had used the railroad to hide. They were hiding in like the divots from the railroad, and that's how they ended up getting an advantage.
Yeah, it's really cool as you look out from the headquarters as well. You know, like the plaque does have picture with like, you know, the battle lines and such, but as you look out, you can also see like other plaques and fields and such with also like small monuments or something. So you could like truly, if you wanted to go all the way out and see what regiment was fighting where, because that was throughout the area. We were on one little trail and stumbled upon a small stone that was saying like what group was fighting right there. Yeah, in the national, I can't remember how it's called, like the Gettysburg National Military Park, I think maybe, there's almost 1,400 monuments, statues, etc. So there's a ton of interesting information. And this General Lee headquarters trail was pretty short. It did take us down past the house to where they situated the cannons, and then that's kind of where it stopped. Right. Well, I mean, to be fair, it was just really focused on the headquarters history. Of course. Right. So, and just that immediate area. Yeah. But if you go, this is a great thing to add to your to-do list, especially if you've been to Gettysburg before and you're looking for something new, since this is only 9 years old. Right. And if you're coming at it from the west, it's on your way in. So, the paranormal story. A place with so much energy tied to it is bound to have hauntings, in my opinion, because it's the energy and also the bodies, if you think about it, because Mary treated people in the house when she became a nurse in a makeshift field house. Field hospital? Field hospital. But also from the conflict, any bodies from the conflict that were there. So the loss of life is not insignificant here. That lends itself to hauntings, plus all of the energy and significance around the Civil War. That lends itself to hauntings. So let's get into the hauntings. People report that while inside the house, doorknobs move on their own as if someone is trying to open the doors. This happens most commonly with the front door, but it also happens with cabinets that are in there. That is definitely the raccoon that has gained true awareness and is using those opposable thumbs. Yeah. I could see it being, like, if they're in the house and it's not open, I could see it being a visitor, but there are the two windows on either side of the front door, so you would be able to see someone approaching. Right. And the thing with cabinets, for me, opening on their own, is like, is this a simple, like, hinge that's, you know, not quite properly aligned? I don't think so. Maybe. Because also, if it's like historically, there's not like latches or anything for the cabinets, I imagine. It's cabinet with knobs. So you know, like actual like with a latch to open it. Oh, see, that actually changes things a little bit. Right. Clearly, the latch is just defunct, and they're just opening on their own that way. So I think that's really interesting because that could definitely be paranormal. Right. That definitely lends itself more towards that being an explanation than where I was going with, like, yeah, you probably just had poopy hinges that are opening and closing on their own because of the sway and then like a draft, or take your pick, right? People often say that objects are moved around the house as well. Visitors report lights turning on and off on their own, and I would chalk the lighting up to bad wiring, but it was renovated in 2016. That's only 9 years. Right, but that doesn't mean there's not like a rodent or something that chews on the wiring, because of the way the house is, there's a lot of space for a small critter to move around. And it's in the middle of a field. Yeah, field mouse, they'll chew on things. That, I could absolutely see that being the case. Many things, everything. But what about the objects moving around the house on their own? I don't know. So part of me is like, ooh, this could be paranormal, right? Just like anything. But then part of me is also like, if you have a lot of visitors coming through, there are chances that people are not super respectful and pick up and move an object. That's true. If it's not in like the locked case or something. Right. So it depends on what the objects are. Like more context would be very helpful here. Right. How accessible are they? Right. That's true.
So the attic is said to be particularly haunted here. And there's a spirit that walks around, especially at night. So people hear like heavy footfalls. And many people think that it's a soldier. Some people think it's a soldier hiding. Some people just think it's a soldier. If they're hiding, they're not doing a great job with their heavy footfalls.
Well, at night, you probably feel more comfortable to move around.
That's true.
During the day, you're not moving because that's when everybody else is awake.
That's true. I think it could be anything. I mean, it's impossible to know.
Yeah, and again, like the heavy footfalls, I'm like, is that some sort of critter returning for the night as well?
You're so skeptical.
I'm not trying to be like skeptical purposely. Well, somewhat purposely here. Just like, okay, so what is the potential of like explanation for this, right?
Well,
Rather
yeah.
than diving in and being like, it's definitely a ghost.
Yeah, I think it's always important to be skeptical. In addition to the heavy footfalls in the attic, people report the sound of footsteps in empty rooms and the sound of disembodied male voices. Can we definitively say if either of these are Lee? No. Can we say that they could be Lee? Yeah.
You can't tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you I'm right.
Exactly. Because I think there's nothing like distinct that pins Lee's ghost, I should say, to this location. But this could be. Now, it could also just be residual energy causing this haunting.
Right. Well, I mean, currently all of these have sounded, if anything, residual at best.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It doesn't seem like there's super distinct spirits here. Like there's no one talking. Well, I guess disembodied male voices, but that's pretty general. There's not clear apparitions that we're seeing. They all seem definitely more general.
I'm wondering if that's because, well, there was like fighting near the headquarters, but there wasn't fighting in the headquarters, much like some of the other places we've covered.
Well, not in the headquarters, but on the land right there.
Like, shots weren't being fired at the headquarters, right? Like
Probably.
It wasn't taking fire.
Yeah, it probably did.
Okay.
Because they fought right there. Because remember, there's the road, the house, the barn base, and then on the other side of the barn there was that like divot, and they said that Union soldiers were hiding in there.
Oh. Okay, I had a different orientation from that, so that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah. So it was like right there.
Yeah. I thought it was a little further off. Okay.
People report seeing apparitions roaming the field around the house, and some have actually been captured on cameras. Again, with so many soldiers buried here, so much residual energy, it's no surprise to me that we're seeing full body apparitions of soldiers here.
Yeah, I am sitting here wondering though, about like when the motel was built and they, excavated to build the foundation and such of the hotel, did they find bodies? Did they move the bodies?
Yeah.
And did the spirits go with those bodies? It's like, this is likely a haunted area, but is it as haunted as it would have been? Or is it maybe now more haunted because you disturbed the dead?
That's what I was thinking, because you disturbed the dead. Who knows? That's a good thought, though. Did spirits end up leaving? That could be. I
don't know. It's really weird because of the such a gravitas of historical context, but then you had like a motel that was on it.
Mm-hmm.
That like on the grounds, like had a parking lot, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So like covered up things, which is kind of a shame too.
Yeah,
it is a shame.
It is a shame. Yeah. And I wonder what could have been lost there in the reno. Like, think if you're like tilling the soil, you could easily break up a relic, and there's no relic hunting anymore in the park.
No, it's strictly prohibited.
Yeah, but if it was a privately owned land, you could have Civil War relics that you just ruined.
Yeah, and probably without knowing.
Without knowing, yeah. I'm not saying someone's like out here smashing stuff.
Yeah, it makes me wonder though how they got the permission to do it. Was it just like was it not like protected ground at the time?
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was part of it couldn't have been part of the national park.
Right, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this being a battlefield, I feel like all of Gettysburg, a haunting you can just blanket lay down is cannon fire, gunshots, horses. Those are really common battlefield hauntings. There was battle raged here. Makes sense. There's the residual energy, the residual haunting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people even say you can hear a drummer in the distance. And I think we'd need to know more about when this drumming is heard, because
right.
Reenactments are so common.
Yeah.
is this tied to a reenactment or is this like a phantom drum?
Right. Like, so if you're like, oh, it's like any of the waking hours, I'd have a hard time being like, oh, that's paranormal, because, these aren't big open areas.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody playing a drum, I imagine that sound can travel very far.
Right.
So but if you're like, it was in the dead of night, we were doing an investigation and we started hearing a drum, here's the audio of it, I'd be like, that's really strange if somebody's out in the middle of the night just like playing the drum.
Yeah.
On a haunted battlefield. Right?
That's true. And what's interesting to me, and I guess is a good thing, is Mary is not here.
Because Mary's not in Gettysburg.
Right, because she was unhappy there. So it makes me kind of happy that her ghost is not there.
Yeah, although, like, you could see a cool spin or like a spooky twist of like, she's back with vengeance. And it's like making people unhappy there because she was unhappy there.
Yeah, but I didn't feel
This is more of like a horror movie plot, right?
Right.
That I'm pitching you than, something I actually wish to be true.
Yeah, I didn't feel unhappy there at all. If anything, I did feel like the weight of the lost lives and everything.
Yeah.
So, knowing what you know now, would you revisit this place of paranormal phenomena for overnight ghost hunt, anything, any caveats?
Yeah, I would like to go when the house is actually open, which I believe was from April to June?
No, it was April to August, I think.
Was it April to August? Okay.
Yeah, it was most of the summer.
All right. So just for potential listeners who potentially want to go,
Summer.
Just be aware that it's like late spring to summer.
Or special events too. I would love to go inside the house. It looked really interesting from what we could see. There was information and artifacts in there. I would like to do an investigation here in the house and surrounding area. I don't think I would stay overnight here. I think there's so much tragedy there that I don't really want to be like disrespectful to the spirits, if that makes sense. Not that staying somewhere haunted is disrespectful, but this isn't somewhere you would normally sleep. I guess that's what makes it disrespectful in my opinion. Like, this isn't a haunted hotel where you would sleep there. This would be like going out of the way to sleep in this significant historical building. So I don't think I'd sleep there. But I would like to do an investigation there if we could do it without interrupting like any of the historical things or harming anything. What about you?
You saying that, it makes me now like think of many, specifically about like that's not a place you would normally sleep. And it's interesting because like we've covered many places where like, yeah, we would stay over the night, but like that are not meant for sleeping. So is it specifically for you the tragedy that does this, not just that?
Because I think for me, it's either a place where you would normally sleep or a place without a bunch of tragedy. This is neither of those. This is a place you would not normally sleep with a bunch of tragedy and such a significant historical location.
Interesting. But you would stay over in Salem?
Depending where I was staying. I wouldn't just like sleep over in the Salem courthouse where people were sentenced.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very interesting take. I don't know. So like in terms of staying over the night, one, I don't think that the house would be very comfortable to sleep in.
Right.
I kind of hear you on this, like where it was a battlefield, I'm like, well, we could pitch a tent. But I feel like that's inviting a whole bag of interesting things to occur during the night to our tent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I would not stay over the night, but do an investigation late into the night, early into the morning, however you want to skin.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. I would not stay over.
Yeah.
Final answer.
So those are the history and hauntings of the General Lee headquarters in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. This was a really interesting one, and I love that there's always more places that we're finding out about and that we can research the history and hauntings. If there's a place that you have that you want us to cover, let us know. You can email us, find us on socials, and tune in next Thursday to see what history and hauntings we discuss next. Stay spooky, my friends.